Welcome back to Crescent City Community College to work on your Masters in the Maasverse. Our current course is focused on Crescent City, House of Earth and Blood by Sarah Janet Maas. Today we're chatting chaps 65 through 72.
Warning, while we may be your silly gal pals, we don't recommend listening to this podcast around little ears or ears that may be offended because we say bad words and shitty things. Are you ready to upgrade your reading nights? Do you have friends that love disassociating into a swoon-worthy magical world? Do they also love getting lost in a perfect glass of wine? What if I told you that every 3 months you could get a beautiful special edition romantasy book and a bespoke artisan crafted bottle of wine that is custom made to match the world and theme of the exact book? Pairing that is already done for you, so all you have to do is sip, read, and escape into fantasy realms. The wine label is also artist designed to complement the featured book, not AI. So the entire idea behind Bookish Wine is they are a quarterly subscription box dedicated to the glorious genre of romantasy, and I am obsessed. Head on over to www.bookishwine.com. That's BOOKISHWINE.com. Use our code Blakely Kylie at checkout to receive a signed copy of the December book and start reading, sipping, and subscribing today. Now, relax those shoulders, unclench those jaws, clench
Your
that
jaw.
clam. Let's begin our journey.
Chapter 65. Therian took Bryce on a joyride on his glorified jet ski to show her where the synth deal was going down. On a small barge, Therian spotted 6 peeps. Bryce still couldn't see, so they had to get closer. The Viper self was one of the 6, which, you're such a fucking liar, Camille. She said that she didn't deal in synth, so what a liar. But the VQ is a shady lady. She was selling to buyers who seemed to be in a disagreement over its worth, which apparently was a fuck ton because one of the buyers made it rain on them hoes and it looked like a lot. Like a lot.
Therian on a jet ski, it makes me think, wave skimmer, sorry. It just makes me think about in 2015 when DJ Khaled got stuck in the ocean. And we all learned about it on Snapchat. But my mind also goes to Kenny fucking Powers on a jet ski. So Therian with cornrows, loose shirt. That's what I'm
Yes.
picturing.
Kenny Powers for sure on a jet ski is what I think of.
Which brings me to the next point that I have. Like, is he on mare or in mare form on the Wave Runner, or does he have legs? If he is in mare form, is he riding side saddle? Or like are his leg or his fin behind in front? Like, what is the flexibility of a mare?
I feel like you'd have to have legs because you're hitting the go button. The gas.
Yeah, but you use your hands for all of that on a wave skimmer.
Yeah, I don't know
So
why.
that's why I'm like, what's the bottom half of Therian on this Wave Runner?
Great question. I'm thinking, I picture legs. I don't want a weird side saddle situation. That's
Like, how can Bryce hold on?
yeah.
He's riding side saddle, or
No.
she's driving.
No, I think he's got legs. I mean, there's nothing more unsexy than picturing Therian on his fucking jet ski and like to the side, like a little side saddle with his little
flapping in the
it's
wind.
flapping in the wind, 100%. No, that's not happening. We're not picturing that. We've already hurt people by telling them that angels wear Crocs. We do not need this.
I'm sorry. I have watched a lot of How It's Made, and I think it shows because I'm curious about the details.
You sure are. They got even closer so they can hear. The Vipe was heard saying, I think you'll find this to be sufficient to your goals. Bryce was about to call Hunt and Rune to shut this shit down. Right after the Vipe hit us with the line, I think this is the start of a beautiful friendship. Don't you? Which, I mean, is kind of lame, stealing it from Casablanca, but I digress. She saw the man behind the hood, Hunt, in deep shit Athalar. Dun, dun,
This
dun.
reminds me of why I was so mad at him in the first book. But as you are a Hunt apologist, and now I think he's a hottie, I'm like, Everybody makes mistakes.
Mhm.
Everybody has their days.
Yeah.
Everybody knows what I'm talking about. Everybody gets that way.
Um, if you haven't pieced this together, our lovely listeners, Kylie will bring this up to me, these lyrics, a Hannah Montana song, every fucking day of our lives. She will slip it in to podcast episodes, and I ignore her every time. So that's what she's referring to. Just want you guys to know.
But Hannah Montana was right.
I just like, but Hannah Montana is right, okay?
Everybody does make mistakes. Everybody does have those days, and Hunt was having that day.
I
Do you want me to
cannot.
apologize for him or not? I am Team Hunt right now, and I'm defending him.
That's true. That's true. I got derailed with your fucking Hannah Montana. So my bad.
Chapter 66. Bryce was suddenly on the barge with weapons pointed at her. Hunt was surprised when he saw her. He was with Haughty Justinian and Haughty Vic. Sexy Therian was like, Haughty Viper Queen, stand down and spread 'em. You're under arrest for being too sexy and dealing drugs. Bryce asked, what the fuck is this? And Square Dancing Croc King Micah is like, it is exactly what it looks like. Turns out VQ let Micah in on the drug dealings. Hunt was not pleased. She actually set them up. Hunt is like, I was trying to stop this all. Vipe shares that those three angels wanted to regain the power that was taken from them so they could have a Mount Herman 2.0. Now, our resident gospel gal has a little FF for you.
Well, I
A
mean,
lot to unpack right there.
if the shoe fits, right? I don't. Okay.
That's what Micah said.
Oh no. Fun little fact about Mount Herman. Mount Herman is a significant biblical landmark. It's on the northern border of the Promised Land and a possible location for the transfiguration of Jesus. It is referenced in the Old and New Testament as a sacred mountain with historical, can't talk, and poetic importance. Some scholars believe Mount Hermon was the high mountain where Jesus was transfigured. It's where Jesus' face literally chose to light it up, and he spoke with Moses and Elijah.
Light it up?
Yeah. Well, I wrote that. Yeah.
Oh, I was like, damn, they wrote that in the Bible.
No, I didn't.
I did.
I'm a prophet, obviously. I wrote it. Now, with this tidbit of information, let's work on getting our masters in the Maasverse. They call the place where Amarantha built her court the Sacred Mountain, which symbolism-wise, mountain represents a place of hell or horror now because of where it was once a holy mountain to the Fae. Now it's a place like a prison. In Axtar, we also have Mount Ramiel, which is the center of the night court in the Illyrian Mountains. This is the Illyrians' holy mountain and where they perform the blood rite each year. Reminder, the blood rite is where warriors must survive and get to the top of the summit to become the highest rank of warrior. Now in Tog, we have a few mountain ranges. One being the Rune Mountains, which, yeah, pretty weird and interesting we have a rune here, and I don't believe it's by accident. We have the White Fang Mountains, which is where Cain was from, and then we have Tivana Mountains on the southern continent, which which are home to the humans who ride on a large golden feather bird called Rux. But none of the Tog Mountains seem to be referred to as sacred. We will learn more about Mount Hermon later in the series, but that's my mountain school for the day. And now let's get back to synth talk.
Thanks for that, Blake. As it's like a news segment.
I know, like
we're reporting live from Mount Hermon. Bryce is only hearing that Hunt knew about this days ago. When Hunt had that trauma shower, he actually 86 some drug lords who had told him about the synth that leaked from Redner's lab. Hunt didn't even know what it could do until he saw those videos. Remember those calls he immediately needed to make? Again, Bryce gets another blow about Danica. She was the reason synth was on the streets. She stole the formula for it, sold the stock, and used it on herself and was allegedly addicted to it. All this allegedly. Bryce is like, absolutely not. Micah chimes in and starts talking about all their fun drug use prior and is like, makes sense, doesn't it? Bryce is not buying it though. Micah is then like, share the rest of the goss, hottie hunt, and then cuffs him with the Gorzian stone manacles. Once again, the stone is the magic killing manacles, not to be confused with the stones from ACOTAR that we talked about in chapter 50.
Or a
I
talk.
also want to point out, yes, I want to
Mhm.
point out that Micah is so icky and I hate him. The
Mhm.
way that he pointed out Danica's shitty relationship with Lucius Malfoy Light, wrong person, and drugs, how drugs could take off the edge, essentially, like saying she wanted power. Like, he didn't even know her. They tried to coerce her into like believing that Danica was a killer and an addict, and that's just not cool, Micah.
He truly is such an icky politician. Like, he looks good on the outside, but like, and seems like the nice guy, but ulterior motives. No, thank you.
He's greasy.
Hmm.
Micah then says Hunt knows the truth about Danica's murder, that she took the synth and mutilated herself after the pack of wolves. She was accidentally, in quotes, summoning the Crystallos. They clearly don't know why she stole the hornstill because Micah thinks it's just to piss off Lucius Light. Hunt then tries to apologize and takes a step towards Bryce, but Fury pops in out of nowhere and is having none of this. Let's talk about Fury here. So Bryce knew that handgun, that it was engraved with silver wings on the black barrel. Bryce didn't know how Fury arrived without even Micah noticing or how she knew to come. Fury Axtar was Liquid Night. She'd made herself infamous for knowing the world's secrets. Sneaky sneak.
So let's get into this. This entire book, we have both made comments about this international woman of mystery, aka Fury. She's often described as relating to the night, like Kai just said, liquid night. And if you remember a couple episodes ago, I mentioned that while reading for the podcast, I came across something very interesting. In Aquar, Moore's dad said he had to go help Lord Thanatos because they're having issues with his daughter again. Now, we learn more about him in future books, but Thanatos is, in fact, a prince of hell, specifically level of prince of the ravine. I've touched on the fact in Greek mythology, Thanatos has a daughter named Erinis, who is the goddess of vengeance and death, also called Furies, aka Fury. Now, let's keep going. We know she's an assassin, but we have no idea what type of veneer she is. It's a faux pas to ask, apparently. But Bryce assumes she's powerful. If Fury is gone all the time and no one knows where she is, maybe it's because she's going between the worlds and is, in fact, a princess of hell. Now, before I start getting into something else, because I really spiraled here, Kai's mention of like, how did she know to get there at that time? Well, we know with Adis, they know what's going on in hell in each world. So she would know the time to pop out and try to save them, right? Now let's go for where I spiraled. I started looking into Ravine in mythology just because Thanatos being called the Prince of Ravine and see what I could come up with, specifically related to hell. So in Greek mythology, the different levels in hell were separated by chasms and rivers. You guys, guess what? One of the main fucking rivers in hell is Archeron. So the Archeron River was the river of Hades. I go on. Archeron was actually the god of an underworld river and lake of pain. It makes you wonder about the lake that Koshe's in, right? I digress. So later in mythology, Archeron was a son of Helios, which we find out a lot in these stories, and Gaia, or Demeter, depends on how you say it, or who's talking, and was changed into the river bearing his own name because he had refreshed the Titans with a drink during the Battle of Zeus. That was his punishment. So it really makes you wonder about those Archeron roots, am I right? And then I wonder what the relation in the Maasverse will be with Thanatos and possibly Fury being his daughter.
What the fuck?
So I've looked up Archeron many times, and I've always seen River, but I've never looked it up in regards to Greek mythology and like hell. I just didn't, because we look up names for everything, guys, as you know. I've never even seen it talked about on online?
anything. I literally had no idea because, like, theories and stuff slip in. We try to avoid them as much as possible. Sometimes it's inevitable, like, you just watched the wrong reel for the wrong amount of time.
Right.
I have never seen any of this.
No, I haven't.
My mind is blown. The episode's done. We can't talk about anything else because what the fuck?
It just really makes you wonder. And we've talked so much, like to go into a little sidebar about ACOTAR, about how the Archeron sisters, just their power, just seems. We still don't know about Elaine, but I think Elaine's actually going to be extremely powerful in what she's good at, like being a seer and oracle. But I just feel like there's some type of connection with hell as well.
Do you think that would be on Mama Archeron's side or Papa's?
Because of the name, I don't know. Well, it is kind of weird that I was thinking about Papa Archeron. The Prince of Merchants is what he was named for, just being good at selling things. Like that, I feel like that's a quite the name, right?
Yeah, how can you acquire the prince of something? Like, how can you get that type of name if, like, in trading aspect? Like, that's crazy.
And we know with Papa Archeron, like he had the word marks over their house. He commissioned for that to get done. The ironwood bed. Like he was one of the first to believe, I think he already knew that there was trouble over the wall, and he went to go try to find help for them. Like I think he knew about all of this magic stuff ahead of time. And I wonder why. Does he have a connection with hell? And they see everything?
He has to. Like, there's no, maybe he's not Fae. Maybe Papa
Right.
Archeron was something else. And then the sisters couldn't tap into their power because, like, he's never mentioned that they even had it, but the cauldron unlocked it somehow. Obviously, like, they're all unique. So there's no way, like, that Daddy Archeron, because he had to have been hot too, right? Like, let's throw this out there. Do you think Daddy Archeron was hot?
Probably. It's hard to picture because he's a cripple now. So I just kind of picture him a little.
Well, he's not even that. He's
Well, now, yeah. Sorry, he was a cripple. I just picture him a little overweight because he wasn't moving that much. So maybe back in the day, like when they were rich, yeah, he was a businessman. He had to look good.
he
His
wouldn't
girl,
lose his face card.
yeah, like all of his girls are pretty, and I know so was the mom. But so yeah, that was a little bit of an ACOTAR sidebar there. But I think they're going to interconnect in future books.
Like, they're gonna find out about the history,
Hmm.
and there's no way that they can't, like, somehow Elaine is gonna tie into their history, like, with her seer abilities.
Well, like we have talked about so many times, like there's prevalent witches in Tog as well as in Crescent City. There is room in ACOTAR to go off. And that we know they exist, but we don't know a lot.
Considering Nesta was referenced as one several times.
And she called herself one. Hmm. And Striga actually means witch. So Striga is the weaver. There's a lot there we don't know.
I will get into Striga on another day because holy shit, that's another spiral.
We could go in there a while, but I just had to give you guys the Archeron info because I was like freaking out. I text Kylie at because our chapters were like done. I went on notes and it was like 11:55 or something. I was like, oh my God, what I just uncovered, you're gonna die or something. She didn't respond, which was rude, but
It was a fun surprise to wake up to.
hmm crazy, right?
I'm gonna need to process that.
Sounds good.
Fury tells Hunt to fuck off, not kindly either. She tells VQ to get the fuck out of her sight, but it's VQ's boat. Somehow everyone listens to her though. Hunt tries to be like, Wah, I didn't want to hurt you, but he knew and didn't tell Bryce, so he done fucked up. Hunt admitted he wanted to rebel again at first, but then saw the footage and was like, nah, not for me. And then he realized he wanted to stop this and be with Bryce and to have two become one as Brent. Bryce takes the opportunity to throw her white opal at Hunt's stupid fucking face and got him pow right in the kissa. He
So,
tried apologizing, but Fury cuts him off and tells them to fuck off and that she will be paying Micah a visit ominous as hell, they ride off into the night on a wave skimmer. The hunt of it all. Bryce handled this really well for only throwing an opal at him.
She did.
Find the kids left.
She did. Okay. So it was shitty of Hunt to do this, yeah? But the man is a slave, and there doesn't seem to be an
Yeah.
end in sight. And wanted his freedom, and it's hard to judge a man for that, in my opinion. He had to commit unspeakable horrors due to him being a slave. So there's kind of this gray area for me. Like, did he fuck up? Yes. But you know in Friends how they say to Joey, how can you just not care? And he's like this. That's kind of how I feel about the situation. I'm like, I get it.
I think Joey Tribbiani would love Hannah Montana's song.
Probably, honestly. I think Joey would be a huge Hannah Montana fan. So, chapter 67. Ruin was waiting in the apartment lobby where Fury dropped her off. He did speak as they rode up the elevator, and when she got in the apartment, she felt a big case of the sads. It just felt dark and hollow without Hunt. She made it halfway across the room and then puked all over the carpet. Ruin was instantly there to comfort her. Bryce couldn't even believe Hunt had implied that her and Danica were a bunch of drug addicts. It just wasn't like that with them. She couldn't help but think that Hunt started realizing how close she was to figuring out the truth, so he probably snuck out and lit her old apartment on fire to ruin the evidence. She couldn't come to grips that Danica killed the pack of devils and herself, and now Danica has to live in shame in the sleeping city, suffering because of Bryce. That was hard to say.
That's so brutal. Poor Bryce having to just have that on her shoulders.
And then, like, the person that she's come to care about thinking the worst of you, it's like fucking Rachel in Friends. It's like when Ross makes the list of all the bad things about her with her and Julie, he's like, the person that you think's not gonna hurt you, and he believes all those terrible things about me too. Full circle. Friends. Always.
Side note, that is such a crazy thing to do if you think about it. Like somebody making a physical list about pros and cons about like someone they love.
That is so mean. So
Hey.
Ross, though.
Yikes.
Just
Write it, regret it, say it, forget it.
just a waitress.
Anyway, so back to Crescent City. Rune and his cutie friends were discussing what was happening to Justinian and Vic. And Vic was going to be thrown into the Melano Trench. Because we are an educational podcast, Melano in Greek mythology is a Greek goddess known for bringing nightmares and madness to those she haunts. According to one of the versions of the myth, she was the daughter of Persephone and Zeus. Melano is often depicted as a shadowy, ghostly figure with the ability to shapeshift and take on various forms. She is said to be able to haunt the living and cause them to experience disturbing dreams and visions, making her a powerful figure in the realm of the supernatural. In addition to her powers of illusion, Melano is also believed to have the ability to communicate with the spirits of the dead, giving her a unique connection to the underworld, which makes me think, could this trench be another rift specifically to hell?
I believe so. We didn't look at each other's notes, and we both mentioned this, which I love, and we're building on each other's. But it could be for sure. In Greek mythology, there's so many different versions, and it's just interesting of what you have and what I will be talking about next chapter. But they go hand in hand. So I think it's a rift.
It wouldn't be that unheard of to have like a rift to like specifically like an underworld under fucking water, because there is living
Underworld
beings in that water.
and underworld under you. Like, it makes sense. And
Yeah, so it's got to be a rift.
I think
Times
so.
a rift.
I think so. Time's a rift. So Fury came back, and Bryce dropped all the eaves listening to her combo with Rune. Hunt's still alive in a holding cell. Justinian is bleeding out in the comitium lobby, and Vic and her essence in the glass box and dropped it in the trench so that she could go from isolation and darkness. Fury thinks Micah came up with a worse punishment for Hunt, though, because apparently there's a lot of things that are worse. And of course, Fury would know. Don't trust her still. I know this is fucked up, but while writing this, all of a sudden I had, "So you had a bad day," pop in my head, and I was just humming and writing a summary about Bryce's completely fucked up day. And I have that song pop up in my head. Like, her essentially boyfriend's not a boyfriend, completely betrayed her. She finds out that her best friend, it was all her fault and killed everybody. And I'm like, and she had a bad day. Like, that's just how I am, I guess.
Just at like a poppy song. It's fine. We are now on port. I'm not even going to say it. You know what? Chapter 68. Hunt didn't get a regular cell. He was underneath the comitium. He did get a TV screen. Unfortunately, the show sucked. It was Justinian crucified with circumcised wings, dripping blood onto a glass box containing Vic's essence. Hunt gave it 0 out of 5 stars. This plotline pisses me the fuck off. It is the only thing I commented on my Goodreads review. I think it was on the second book, but like, where the fuck is Vic? Because, spoiler alert, Vic lives at the bottom of this trench for fucking ever. Like, God, I'm so mad already. And I don't know why it bothers me, but going on the things that we just looked up about the trench, like, there's no way that this is going to be a plot hole. Right?
No, I don't think it is. I think, fear not, she'll come back.
I know she's gonna like lose her mind, go Limp Bizkit, break stuff, but like, I want to see her again. Which is also another Hannah Montana song. When will I see you again?
I can't wait to see you again. Okay, nice. It is funny that this has always like incited rage in you,
Like,
because
rage, not just
I
upset. I'm pissed.
this is a Joey situation for me where I just don't care. And this was even before the connection that I think is possible that we'll get into in a little bit.
Yeah, I don't know why. It just makes me real mad. Like, we just abandoned her. That was just sad. She made a mistake. We didn't even get her thoughts on it. Justice for Vic. Anyway, Isaiah came to visit and asked Hunt why and if it was worth it. He put his name down, flipped it, and reversed it. Hunt was like, "I just wanted to help, but good intentions, terrible decision-making skills." He knew it wasn't worth it, but wanted better for the Angels. Vic had the gold, Hunt talked to the vibe, and Justinian was just there for the ride. They planned to take out Micah, Sandy, and then take a girls' trip to Pangera and repeat. Isaiah's pretty mad at Hunt for this. Micah knows Hunt did try to stop them, and that's why he is not with Vic or Justinian in the lobby. Hunt asked Isaiah to tell Bryce sorry for him. Weird, but okay. I feel bad for Isaiah in this moment because he's a rule follower and just really wanted what's best for Hunt. And he knows deep down that Hunt's a good guy, but just a fucking dummy.
Hunt got restless and really made poor decisions. I feel bad for Isaiah too, because like, he just lost his friends. Now he has what, Naomi left?
Yeah. And she's a strict gal too. I don't think she lets loose in the way that Justinian and Vic did, clearly.
No, I think Naomi's a Ravenclaw.
I could see that. Good call. Agreed. It's been 3 days, and Bryce and Lahava still don't know what will happen with Hunt. They are watching the shitty show that Hunt was. Strangely enough, there is no mention of him being involved. Bryce got her vial of antidote from the witch that morning, but doesn't even want to look at it because of the memory of Hunt that day. I think it's really interesting that the med witch, which is Hypaxia, was so adamant on giving Bryce a vial of antidote as a keepsake. Like, she literally didn't have to do that, but she did.
She did. Well, when you said it's been 3 days, I just pictured Sheryl Crow in The Rock. It's been 3 damn days.
I thought of that, but I also thought Bare Naked Ladies 1 week, and I was like, but that's not the song. I was like, it's been 3 days since you looked at me. That's not right.
But you can make it that way if you want to.
Bryce tells Lahaba to turn the TV off, and when the front door buzzer goes off, it was the Thotham King. He's there to let her know that Rune gave him the lowdown of what happened and that she will have security and is innocent in Micah's eyes. He asks what's going on with the horn, and she told him how Danica stole the horn and tossed it in a high as a kite moment. Daddy Thotham is like, you need to find it. By the way, I loved your mom. Bryce is like, sure, Dan. Apparently, Daddy Thotham wanted to make her his queen, had the paperwork ready and everything. He then tells Bryce she is like her mother, but more like him than she realizes, and that is not a good thing. He then left, and Bryce just thought about Hunt. I feel like Ember and Daddy Thotham are leaving shit out of their story. Daddy Thotham loved Ember. He clearly actually loved her. It's like love so much you go mad. And I really feel like we're missing more to their fucking story.
Kind of like Tamlin-ish, except Tamlin didn't really seem to care until Feyre was gone. I mean, he didn't fight for her under the mountain, had no problem with her puking herself to death, and just being hella depressed. Honestly, I like Thotham better. Just gonna throw that out there.
Which they both give Kale vibes to me. How Kale only loved Selena for certain parts of her. So it gives that vibe, which makes me think fuck, marry, kill, Tamlin, Thotham King, Kale.
Wow. Okay. I'm going to marry Kale.
Okay.
I'm going to fuck Thotham King. And I'm going to kill Tamlin. I know yours are going to be switched.
Yes. We're 86 in Tamlin. No. That is the craziest thought that I've ever had. We are 86 in Kale. I hate Kale. Why would I even keep that man there? No, I'm fucking Tamlin and marrying the Thotham King. I can change him.
Yeah. The way you feel about Kale is the way I feel about Adian. I feel like that's our for Throne of Glass men.
Yeah, because I'm like, Adian's fine. He's probably hot, good fuck, whatever. Neither here nor there. But you're like, yuck.
I hate him. Well, he's blonde too.
Kale is not redeemable for me. Go away. Go to now. Stay.
Yeah, I know. I know you feel this way. And I just have to say, as a resident daddy issues expert, it would be a knife to Cody Brown's kidneys if my dad was like, you're more like me than you realize. It's a very low blow, Thotham. Very low blow.
He knew what he was doing.
Yeah, that's brutal.
I mean, Daddy Thotham's kind of a dick. Not kind of, he is. But like I said, I could change him.
Well, unfortunately for us, we're attracted to dicks in more ways than one.
Which brings us to the next chapter.
What is it called? Chapter 69. So, Hunt did not make good choices, and he was forced to deal with the consequences of his actions, which included watching Justinian rot on his TV feed, have the knowledge of Vic being alone in the Melano, his wings were growing back and they were painful and itchy, plus having to deal with the fact that he betrayed Bryce, which is super shitty. So after 6 days, Sandy, aka Sandriel, came to see him. She was like, hey, I was told you wanted to kill me, which is just silly. We're back to that. And oh yeah, Micah gave me some of your things. And then she pulls out his phone and has it playing on the TV monitor. Bryce had texted him. And then Sandy, the bee, was like, also, look at you and all these photos being so common. All of their memes together. A reminder what could have been. Sandy tried to hit him in the jugular and was like, what would Shahar have thought? And then said some more shitty things and dropped a bee that he now belonged to her. And dropped a bee is bomb, just so everyone knows. Don't know why.
But we are products of 9/11 and we know not to say that.
Bryce went to the nearby bar to see Rune and tell him thanks. She told him she feels like a certified dum-dum, and everyone warned her and tells him that their dad visited her and was like, hey, you suck just like me. And Rune tells her, you're nothing like him. He invited her to come to his house to watch the Sunball game in a couple weeks, but she's like, nah, I'm good. She asked him why he still even bothered to try, and he asked her why she keeps pushing him away. They have a moment, and they agree to start over on a trial basis only. Spoiler alert, this does not last very long.
Not a great trial. Not
No,
Peruvian.
in like one chapter it lasts, guys. Not great. So remember how Kai brought up the Melano earlier?
Trench. Yes.
So, Melano. I was like, weird name. Must look it up and see its mythology. It did not disappoint. Melano is a chthonic goddess, which are gods or spirits who inhabited the underworld, invoked in one of the Orphic hymns and represented a bringer of nightmares and madness, which Kai already told us. So I could stop there, but I kept going. And I thought Melano sounds like the perfect symbolism for Vic's punishment. But let's continue. So Melano has characteristics similar to Aranis, who we think is potential fury. And we could be like, Melano sounds like the perfect symbolism for Vic's punishment. But let's continue. So Melano has characteristics similar to Aranis, which is our potential fury, and Hecate. Actually, Melano's name is thought to be, and it's called epithet or of Hecate, which is like a name or a nickname. I wrote nickname, but a nickname. So let's take a look at Hecate, shall we? Hecate is a Greek goddess associated with magic, witchcraft, crossroads, night, and she's known as the guardian of doorways and boundaries, often depicted as holding a torch and associated with symbols like keys, dogs, and serpents. She's considered the chief goddess of magic spells and enchantments. She would guide the souls to the underworld.
Is the trench really a trench at all? Or is it the gaping mouth of?
And we don't have it in a map where exactly this trench is. If you look at it, I don't know. But my guess is it's probably very close to where the bone quarter is, like the water in front of there. I bet you there's a trench around because it would be guiding the souls to hell. Just a thought.
Smart.
Mhm.
The deities are referred to as chthonic or Chthonian, and they were gods or spirits who inhabited the underworld or existed in or under the earth, and were typically associated with death or fertility. So it sounds wildly similar to the goddess Thona. If we learned anything from Throne of Glass, it's that the gods are selfish assholes in the story. So I wonder if Thona is even a good guy. What if Thona and Solus are actually princes or princesses of hell? We don't know because we don't have all the names. I don't necessarily believe that, but like it's not impossible.
Or they're
Especially
just
if this French is an opening.
right. Or Thona could just be a god that would be maybe up here, but is shifty. Like we have that in so much Greek mythology. She might not even be underworld related or like, you know what I mean, like living in the underworld, but could just be shifty. Because
Yeah,
you
because
said they're selfish assholes. We know that from Tog. Hey, Kai, want to know how Hecate is depicted to look like? A woman with dark hair, and guess how many heads she has? It's not
stop.
one, a fucking three-headed goddess. Where have we heard of a three-headed goddess, you say? I don't know. The freaking witches in Tog say that Elena's amulet is the symbol of the three-headed goddess. Amryn even mentions the three-headed goddess in ACOTAR. Not to mention the Arcasian amulet being a very similar symbol. So yes, I think the three-headed goddess is in fact Hecate. Now to circle it all back to Vic, now we learn that the rivers or ravines are often separate those levels of hell. So what if Vic actually, when thrown into the Melano Trench, actually sank to the bottom and was rescued by someone in the underworld or pulled her under? It was described by Hunt as the deepest place in Midgard. Nothing but dark and silence. So if it's a trench, it makes me feel like that would be some type of rift that goes into the underworld.
Or, hell or something.
Yeah.
Or there just could be a fucking whole nother world through there.
Yeah,
Well,
maybe
it's a
they go
rift.
through that way, right? So I think, I know you're upset about Vic being MIA, but I think she'll come back.
Because
But
it's just such a weird plot hole, isn't it? Just to just leave a character, like, kill him off. Kill her. Not, like, make her go crazy. She may not be going crazy after all.
can we talk about Hecate being a three-headed goddess?
And who do they pray to a lot in these books? The
The
three-headed
three-headed
goddess.
goddess. Now, I am working on a current theory for that, so stay tuned, friends.
Chapter 70. Nope, what's this? Let's make it disco. Anyways, Bryce got home and there was Fury in her apartment. She's heading out to the summit, but wants to share with Bryce that Hunt has been given to that bitch Sandy. Fury told Bryce to not do anything stupid. So there's a part that says even when she and Fury had been out partying, Fury had never really lost that cold gleam, that calculation and distance. But Hunt's stare, and once again, Bryce's thoughts are always cut off before we're gonna get a fucking gem. I think it's weird to compare Fury to Hunt, knowing who Hunt's daddy is.
Right. And I think it opens the case for distant relatives. The way Fury is described really could make the case for a Night Court, potentially Hell descendant, as we've been trying to make the case for, aka looking at you, Lord Thanatos.
Bryce tells Fury that her and Hunt are just friends, but Fury's like, I'm not stupid. She then tells Fury to go back to Pangea and ignore her for another 2 years. Fury tells her that she wasn't ignoring her, she just got too close to all of them, and that she lost someone too. She's like, let's hang out next week. Fury left, and she's like, I promised Fury to not do anything stupid. I didn't say I wouldn't do something smart. There's a moment where it's like, Juniper and I have something that is none of your fucking business. Bryce refrained from gaping. Juniper had never hinted, never suggested. And then Fury goes, I could no sooner stop talking to her than I could rip out my own fucking heart, okay? It sounds like mate behavior to me.
It really does. And if we look at Fury from the lens of the Princess of Hell, which we've been making the case for, and Juniper, Andromeda, as an Andromeda starseed, it is interesting. Reminder and Andromeda starseed theory. So they're believed to be souls that originated from the Andromeda galaxy. They are thought to live many different lifetimes on other planets and star systems. Traits: deep empathy, sensitivity, strong sense of independence, freedom, highly compassionate, creative, and feel like an outsider. So you can make the case for this fawn ballerina. She's the one that made sure that Bryce didn't commit suicide, essentially. And having her be paired with a potential princess of hell, that's a pairing.
Yeah. I think that is Juniper's sole purpose is,
Mhm.
well, she really is just to be a good person.
And what if it's her purpose to help Fury, who's potentially a princess of hell, soften her, make first, the fates and different choices? It's intriguing.
They gotta be. I don't even talk like it. They have to be mates.
I think so. The heart pull out thing, yeah.
Only if you're mated or you're a male fae are you that kind of like territorial.
Mm-hmm.
I never even thought about that originally, that they could be mates.
Chapter 71. Hunt was like Akon, locked up, and they wouldn't let him out. They had his pictures on loop of Bryce, which made him feel lonely. Oh, so lonely. He had no body to call his own, which was definitely a form of torture on top of a threat like, toe the line, pal, or the red-haired goddess will be 86. Sandriel's goons came for him at sunset and shackled him again with the stones that I can't say. He was led to the elevator with 10 guards, and Pollux, aka the Hammer, was inside being his usual dicky self. They took him by Justinian, who was rotting away, and they told him that Vic is at the bottom of the sea. Sandy was waiting for him, looking like the biscuit she is, and took him in a transport van. Isaiah and Naomi were there to say sayonara. Right before he left, he heard a female voice yell, "Wait!" And you know who it was. Sandra was like, "Yes, Bryce Quinlan." She begged her not to take him. Sandy told her how he had been gifted to her the day before, but Bryce had a counteroffer. "Let me buy him from you for 97 million gold marks, to be exact."
Hunt's getting taken away in a van, and I just picture a minivan. It's not accurate, or an Astro van, specifically blue Red box.
So it doesn't even make sense what I picture. I picture Ramona Singer, and that when she was sick off the airplane and they're taking her away, like holding her. That's what I picture.
Very different thoughts. Yet again, this is showing how our brains work. Like back to the box conversation. What's in the box? We go different paths. Same situation here.
Mhm.
But let's talk maps in the Maasverse, or fucking lack of. Stressful. But there is a line that says, when Sandriel took him back to her castle in the misty, mountainous wilds of the northwestern Pangea, to the Greystone City in its heart. If we are going with Pangea is Aurelia and the southern continent is where Lunation is located, I feel like Sandy's castle is in Amaroth in the northwestern corner on the Throne of Glass map. There is a tower, which you can see the one at Knoll 2, but you can see what looks to be two buildings there. No other cities or locations on the Aurelia map have buildings, just Amaroth, which I feel is pretty interesting. The only time Amaroth is mentioned is because it's the location of one of the towers that was halting magic. Honestly, Sandy ruling over the frozen waste, barren lands, would track.
Truly. And Kai, you actually are exactly right because Sandriel is from Ravelis, which is in the northwestern quadrant of Pangea, which would be Amaroth in the northwestern corner, which was right by a part of the frozen waste, which you mentioned, which could be considered misty, and there's mountains right there. So Kylie, I think you're right on the damn money there. Excellent detective work.
People don't believe us, but time's a rift. It happens. Like, they can be layered in timelines. If you have ever watched a Marvel movie, like, if anything is possible, like, don't write off theories because like you just don't think it could work. It could. Anything is fucking possible. Like, there's literally a wraith thrown in the box at the bottom of an ocean. Like, literally anything is possible.
It really does help being a Marvel girly with Maasverse when it comes to multiverse stuff. Like you just get it instantly. But if you don't watch Marvel movies, I could see where it's like, no, they already tell us what this is. And like, two things can be right at once.
Yeah, like, no, maybe they're not wrong, maybe we're not right, but I don't know that we're wrong because there's literally lines that talk about universes on top of each other in these
And
books.
time
We've
is
pointed it out before. Yeah.
separated by time, but happening at the exact same time. That's Meryl's research,
We
guys.
feel we feel very passionate about this. We really do.
I know I'm already in a bad mood.
Well, let me make it worse because I want to point out that Pollux is a blonde and that says a lot about him.
It truly does. It truly does. Bryce handed her proof of funds from Jessica Roga's bank, and then she pulled the Arcasian amulet from her neck and added that to the deal. Sandriel melted the amulet into streams of gold on the floor. Bryce even tried to volunteer as tribute, but Rune was like, don't you fucking dare. Sandriel was like, really? You offer your life? Rune tried sending his shadows after her, but she poo-pooed them away real quick.
Put them away.
Why? I don't know.
So the amulet is 15,000 years old, and that's about the creation of the current Midgard calendar. It's currently the year 15,035. You know what else is 15,000 years old? The vase where they discovered the crystallos. I just think it's very peculiar that this amulet was made around the time that the Asteri channeled their inner Christopher Columbus.
Sorry. The Christopher Columbus kind of
I
got me.
delivered it with a straight fucking face.
I wasn't. I didn't read any of it. So I wasn't expecting it. Sandy started her villain monologue on how people would think she would be a fool for taking the offer, a half-breed with no power, over the most powerful Malachim to ever darken the skies, the only warrior on Midgard who can wield lightning. But she knows Bryce Quinlan's secret. She knows what a prize she is. And then she drops a big ass Autumn King bomb. Really hard not to say the Autumn there. The only daughter of the Autumn King. And the crowd went wild. She continues her evil ass monologue about how after she pulled her influencer stunt, she put her people on the case and found out all about her 23andMe details. Ruin pulled some real Fae hole shit and was like, actually, as a member of a Fae royal household, I lay claim to her and she is my property and I do not permit such a trade. Bryce told Room she would never forgive him and started shaking and reaching for Hunt and telling him that she will find a way. But Hunt did the typical trope of being a mega douche to protect the ones that we love most. And I was like, I owe you nothing and you owe me nothing. Don't come looking for me again. Why is that the most common trope all over? Like being a dick. Yeah. Mm-hmm. The summit would take place in the heart of the Samathi Desert. So let's take a look at Samathi. We find out later in the book it's a 5-hour drive and a 1-hour flight. So if I'm thinking about Maasverse wise, going with the theory Lunation is Antarctica and on the southern continent, I think what would be a 5-hour drive would be the northern desert. We unfortunately do not have a completed Crescent City map. And that is 100% on purpose because I don't believe Sarah Janet wanted us to compare the two or three. Same thing for ACOTAR. It would give away too much of the plot, but just want to add that it just makes sense. Just wanted to add a further point that the Black Court in Crescent City is to the east. Now, I don't believe it's for naught that on the southern continent map, there is an Ombric Isles. Just for shits and gigs, I looked it up to see what Ombric means, which is believed to come from the Latin word umbra. Yes, like umbra mortis. Umbra means shadowy or dark. So the Umbric Isles would be where we believe the Black Court in CC is. I mean, it makes sense, right?
It does.
Mm-hmm.
We just keep coming back to these maps. I just need a completed map. It makes me so mad.
What makes you more mad, Maps or Vic?
Maps, for sure.
It was
Maps
like
piss me
right?
the fuck off.
Mm-hmm.
Because, how can we place things? How can we confirm or deny our theories without these goddamn maps?
She doesn't want us to. Bryce and Rune have a very heated fight, and Rune has no regrets. Go cry about it to someone else, he says. Deck and Tristan were pretty butthurt that Rune didn't tell them about Bryce, their princess. Rune is like, I trust you guys, but I could not take the risk of the Thoughtum finding out. Plus, she didn't want anyone to know, and he needs to talk to her. Bryce went to the river by the arches of the Black Dock. She started talking to Danica. While talking to her, the wind quieted and the river seemed to halt. Her Fae and human senses went on high alert. Then the Crystallis demon left from the shadows and tackled her into the river.
And why did it do that, Blake? What did she remove?
The Arcasian amulet.
So she was no longer protected.
No.
In case y'all were wondering, were wondering why she got attacked. Chapter 72. Bryce is going down in an earlier round. Sugar was going down swinging, but then something grabbed her. Good thing Declan means full of goodness because he just saved her ass. Tristan Flynn had a gun pointed at the water while Declan healed Bryce's arm. Weird that the man named Declan, whose name means full of goodness and man of prayer, ironically has the rare gift of Fae healing, which he kept on the down low. I just think that was a weird association.
I like it.
Slutty Sexy Rune is like, girl, what are you doing on the Black Dock after sundown? Flynn asks where the Crystallos came from, and Bryce replies with, apparently people who take large quantities of synth can inadvertently summon a Crystallos demon. It was probably a freak accident. And Flynn is like, or it was targeted. But Bryce is like, the case is over, and Rune is like, you're staying with me. Bryce, absolutely not, you're dead to me, and thanked Declan and Flynn, then headed home. She checked to make sure her tattoo was still intact after the Crystallos attack, and thank God it was. All she could think was, through love, all is possible is what's connecting everything. And I love the drama of it all. Bryce finding Rune's name and deleting it in her phone in front of him. I love it. Even though she made him flinch, poor Rune.
It's so fucking dramatic and bratty, and it makes me laugh. It's the level of petty that you and I would be like, delete.
No, we just immediately stop sharing locations, and then we don't even delete the numbers.
And your ass is kicked off Spotify.
I'm never going to live that down.
No, it's my favorite. Special thank you to Bookish Wine for sponsoring today's journey. We have new episodes every Wednesday. Join us next week as we talk chapters 73 to 80 and head into our final 3 episodes of Crescent City, House of Earth and Blood.
Make sure you follow us on social media for all our latest episodes, theories, and more new book goofing. Don't forget to hit subscribe and give us a review wherever you listen. All links are in our info, you giggling gal pals. We will see you next week.